Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Shelley from Shelley Skincare, and today I'm going to be interviewing or chatting with Irene. Her Instagram handle is Irene Exo Fitness. So I will be putting this on YouTube, and it's just like what is it called, IGTV. So hopefully you can, if you missed any part of it, you can probably check IGTV and YouTube after that. But again, it's Shelley Skincare is my channel, and Irene is Irene XO Fitness, like XO, the hug and the kiss fitness. I'm just going to be waiting for her to get on here, but in the meantime, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. And if you feel like giving us hearts at any time, please do. Let's see if she's going to be joining in a second. Okay, so I just wanted to check in with you guys and see how you're feeling. How is everything going while you're sheltering in place? I'm assuming that most of you still are. And you're here.
Hi.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks, Shelley. Thanks for having me.
Is that the background that I exercise to every morning now?
Yes.
I love it.
It is. It's so funny.
Obviously, that's my favorite color, yellow. I don't know if I told you that, but you probably have seen it on my channel.
Yeah, I was like, well, Shelley will like the yellow. It's perfect.
I love it so much. But I was just about to introduce you. I wanted to tell everybody, like, kind of your story and, like, how you got involved in everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I mentioned, Irene from Irene Exo Fitness, and she's an international fitness trainer and mindset coach, and that's real because she motivates me every single day. She has extensive dance training. She helps women achieve their health and fitness goals worldwide through her online coaching and programs, as well as her local fitness classes or group fitness classes. She's born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, until 2005 when she evacuated Hurricane Katrina with her family. And this tragedy relocated her to Los Angeles, where she continued to pursue her dreams and endeavors despite the emotional trauma and anxiety that was filling her inside. After this fitness journey, after she started the fitness journey, it led her to empower herself through the anxiety and emotional struggles. And she met celebrity Billy Blanks. Okay, we need to have a moment of hearts for Billy Blanks because he changed my life with Tybo.
Yes, I love that. I love hearing that.
Yeah, he's amazing. And the fact that you got to work with him in Dana's studio, in his private fitness studio, is like amazing to me. So
yeah,
right
yeah,
on.
we'll definitely have to talk about that. That's a whole story.
Yeah. Well, she fell in love with fitness and currently teaches various bodyweight style training, including Pilates, bar, HIIT, boxing, and of course, Tybo fitness. More hearts. But this journey inspired Irene to help women change their lives by conquering their challenges, mind, body, and spirit. And she's so passionate about helping others break through their pain and plans to launch a podcast in spring of 2020. So I'm really looking forward to that, and maybe you'll have me on there sometime.
Yeah.
But it's just it's going to be to inspire others to take their life into their own hands so that they can achieve greatness, which is amazing. That's what you do for me every day. So thank you.
Yes.
But I've known you for a really long time now, and I had no idea you were a Katrina survivor. I mean, you turned lemons into lemonade, and I need to know more about that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's something that I just naturally never talked about because, when something's happening to you, you're like, well, nobody cares about this. This is just my life. So even while it was going on, I was 14 at the time. So Katrina hit in 2005. So I was starting 9th grade. And I feel like we've all been there. Like you're 14, you're like hormonal, you're just figuring yourself out.
That's a tough age.
Yeah, it's a tough age. And that was already a tough age for me. Because now, people meet me and they're like, you're so happy and bubbly and you're working out and you're smiling, doing burpees and burpees suck. Nobody's smiling doing burpees. But then, I mean, I was still happy, but I just was in such a dark place even before the hurricane hit, because I was at like an all-girls school. So all those things put together, like I was bullied, and I never even talked about that. So usually I would just...
Have they seen you lately?
Write those, yeah.
There's no bullying here.
And I would just like, when they say don't talk to yourself badly. So like the person that I was then, I would write things badly about myself. I'd be like, oh, I'm so stupid, or oh, I did this, or I did that. And then the hurricane hit, and then it was just another thing that just made me like start to learn how to take bad feelings and bad emotions and just lock them all away. So then when we evacuated, we ended up coming to California because everything was just damaged and totaled. And I had like my mom crying all the time. So I saw that and I was like, oh, she's falling apart. Better learn to like, put all your feelings in your pocket and not fall apart. So those things, all compact. And then eventually, though, once we came here, something just switched off in me. And I was like, I think it happened for a reason. Like, I just realized I wasn't happy then. And now, like, I can be whoever I want to be here. Like, the old me is gone. Like, the old me is in Louisiana and New Orleans. And I just pictured it, like, underneath the water. So every time those things would come on the TV and, like, she would, cry and break down because it's so devastating. But all I could do was just choose to say, that's the old me. I can't connect to it anymore. And then from then, it was like, the new me is born. And that's another reason why my first name is Desiree, but I go by Irene because that was the way that I was able to like recreate myself. And I truly believe that everybody can choose to be whoever they want. And it's up to you, no matter what happens to you. So I think that was definitely my start of becoming who I am now. And it's definitely a choice, for sure. Definitely.
Well, one of my cousins is named Desiree, and I think she might be on here. I'm not sure. But her mom wanted her so much that she wanted to use the word Desiree for desire. And I feel like you have a desire, greatness, and you've been achieving it for as long as I've known you. And I never, ever, ever would have thought that you had any dark times in your life. So you've really, done an amazing job in turning things around because nobody would know. So
yeah, no. Right. And I feel like that's the same thing about like health and where we are right now. Like anybody that's going through pain right now, I don't know, what have you been doing lately? Because I feel like most of us are probably just closing how we feel and not talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this has been a very interesting thing, but I have really tried. So I have a friend who's on here. Her name is Malia. And she had reached out to me in the very beginning, and she's like, you need to get out there and do some more videos and help people. And I had several clients tell me, get out there and start teaching people how to do their own eyebrow waxing and all that kind of stuff. And I have 3 clients that this week just said, oh my gosh, we have to wax our legs. You have to teach us how to wax our legs. Like nobody knew back in, March, that we were going to be still sheltering in place at this time. So I think I'm going to need to do something with my hair soon. I don't know how many more lives I'm going to do, depending on how the hair goes. No. But I'm trying to turn my lemons into lemonade and get more involved in videos. And I'm doing the exercise with you at least, I'd say 5 days a week. And then I have a couple other people that I like. And so I just kind of do maybe I'll do your peach butt exercise this morning for 10 minutes. And then I did a yoga class after that. So I've been having a lot of fun and I've been trying to connect with a lot of people. So socially, I feel like, socially I'm doing really well, but physically, at least I have somebody who lives in my household and I have a little dog. So I don't feel terrible, but sometimes I want to just start screaming and run outside and hug people because that's the other reason, I got on here last week because I wanted to connect with one of my clients. Her name is Jamie. And I just miss everybody. So so that's what I'm doing with my time.
What about you guys? What about you guys here? Shelley is keeping herself busy. Eyebrow videos, waxing videos. Has anybody been just trying to change something? Because we've been doing the workout. So Shelley did the peach butt workout and you said you did the bar workout earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like, we have this opportunity right now. If you don't know how to wax your own eyebrows and you pay for that every time, you might still want to do that later because you love whoever does it. But why not learn how to do something for yourself right now? Learn a new skill, learn a new trait. Like, if you want to start working out, now's the time. If you want to change your diet, now's the time, right? And
I've
don't
got
get me wrong
something
with
on
skin. Oh, here we go. It's skin.
Well, I've got La Salette. She's a hairstylist, and I know her, and she's saying to drink more water, and I think that's absolutely right. Like, I think we're all drinking a lot of alcohol these days, and eating a bit more, but definitely drinking water and healthy drinks and teas, which you can speak to because that's kind of your expertise.
Yeah, for sure. And drinking water is spot on. It sounds like it's something that's very simple, but we just don't realize how much water we're not drinking and how much other stuff we are drinking. And you don't even have to say like, okay, juice, soda. We kind of know by now the things that are bad, but let's even talk about the things that are in most of the food that we're used to eating. So all of these toxins, all of these things that it's like these wrappers and you don't know what it is. You don't look at it. You just grab and stuff and grab and go because we're always so busy. So that's why right now it's almost like, okay, there's no exit goal of this. Like, we're going to get out of this and shift on to whatever's next. But what we have now is like golden, because not just working out or like learning a new thing, but if you are always busy, if you're mostly home right now, you've got more time. So if you want to change something and take stuff that you're normally putting in your body, like now is the right time to purge it all out and recreate something new. And the water will just help flush all of that. So that tip right there is amazing. When you just start drinking more water and drinking less of other things, then you start naturally paying attention more to like what you're putting in your mouth.
And then I have a couple people that have commented, like the makeup enthusiast was talking about how she's really gotten more into artsy type things and she's doing like crafting and all that. And then I've got someone saying that she's doing her hair more often, coloring and curling and cooking homemade healthy meals.
Oh, nice.
It's a good time for whole foods. Like, yeah, it's true.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a good time for whole foods. And, you know, healthy stuff has a bad rap. Everyone's like, oh, it's organic. But what was first off the shelf? Not the healthy stuff. Right? So if anyone's thinking right now, like, oh, we're going to be at home a lot, let's get all of our favorite goodies. And you've got to have some treats, but it's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second here. Doesn't sound like a good idea. So Whole Foods is definitely a good idea if you can get to it, of course.
Well, maybe you can tell people about like your channel and your goal in the channel, because I'm looking at it every day, and I mentioned that it's Irene Exo Fitness, but I think you do a lot of things. You do Zoom, which I haven't tried that. I don't know what that looks like for you. I just did my first Zoom yesterday with a yoga class, but I want to do your private one, whatever that is.
Yeah, so on the YouTube channel, you're going to find like a lot of quick, effective workout routines for different goals. So you're going to get a lot of full body, but a lot of specific core and strengthening lower body. There's healthy recipes on there. More importantly, the new thing that is happening, because YouTube will give you a good, like, quick insight of like the workouts. So definitely go hang out with me over there. But with the live workouts on Zoom, I'm now with ClassPass. So it is on Zoom, but I'm a ClassPass partner after like a month of doing so many live stream YouTube videos. So someone contacted me and they were like, hey, you know, you're helping women and you're doing all these workouts. Like, why don't you go on ClassPass so that other people can join in? Which is awesome. So even if you don't have a membership, you can work out with me on ClassPass. And I think it's like you can find it easier if you just search body weight challenge with Irene. Because it's like it shows you what's in your area. But the cool thing about that is like you can see each other, so it's interactive and you can get feedback. And that's what's really important here, because if you have a certain goal that you want to do, just working out until the cows come home isn't going to help without that feedback. So that's why I like it, because I'm like, okay, I'm your virtual trainer for the next hour or the week, you know what I mean? And you could go from like, I'm too afraid to start and I'm filled with all this crap and I can't move and I have all this anxiety in my body and I feel stuck, to like 1 week, like I'm your virtual trainer and you're turning it around. And you're like, okay, well, now it's May and I've started, and that's the problem. A lot of people just can't start. So I think that this is going to be really cool. Usually I'm kind of just like focused on people that are in LA in this area in my classes. So I've never really been that available online until now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you just brought up something about like group fitness and everything. And I am terrified. I have a gym membership, but I'm terrified to go back. I don't know when I'm going to feel like going back. But I mean, like just thinking about the gym environment and touching anything that someone else, like I felt like I didn't have to bring my own mat to this particular gym because they're pretty clean. But even touching the equipment, touching the things, and then like, you know, using a towel and like, how do you see this going when people start to go back?
You know, that's a really good question. And I'm glad you asked that because I feel like I personally struggled with this before this even happened.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm flashing back to like before we think about going back, before this even happened, I have a membership to LA Fitness. So I don't know if anybody here has 24 hours LA Fitness. If you guys could just type it in the chat box what you used to use, wherever that's like a big gym or a small gym near you. I have LA Fitness and I would go there and I feel so comfortable going there because it was like a nicer one. You know how yours is like the nice one, and you go to the others and you're just like, oh, this gym's kind of dirty. They don't.
Well, mine's a medium nice one. I've been to nicer, but it's really spendy, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I just mean, it's not that ritzy, you know, it's just LA Fitness. But I mean, they clean up a lot, and that's what's important to me. The machines are working, and there's not crap all over. So you just get really comfortable. And me as a trainer, LA is so wide. So now I'm in Orange County. So at one point, I was like driving all the way to UCLA out into the valley, working with Billy at his new gym, and then teaching classes at UCLA, teaching classes at another college, then coming back to Dana Point, then going to Long Beach. So always driving in the car, always being busy. And you just brought up about what's going to happen when you go back, and that feeling, people are going to be filled with like new feelings of anxiety and fear of like, oh, what's going to happen? This isn't clean. And I already was making so many mistakes as a person that's like a professional. I would go and I would train and I would wash my hands, but I wasn't that careful looking back. And I'd always like kind of rush out the door, you know, your phone's going off immediately. And like how many seconds I feel like we touch our phone, we touch our face. And then if I'm thinking back to like 2018 was the worst year of my skincare. And I just tagged you, and I tagged, for those of you that aren't following me on my page, I showed my skin, how it used to look. And you saw, Shelley, there was stuff everywhere.
Right.
So now looking towards what's going to happen, I have no idea, because that's before any of this started.
Yeah. Well, somebody's writing in that they like to work out at home because of the commute and the traffic. Like, I love working out at home now. I'm not sure I want to go back, but I also feel like by the time we're allowed to go back, that I might crave the social part of it, but I just don't know. Because I actually, doing that Zoom yesterday made me feel connected. Hi, Christiana. It made me feel connected to a group because I was actually in the Zoom with a couple girls that I know. So it really was like, oh, I'm just seeing my friends, but we're almost exercising in our pajamas. Like, it was really nice.
That's how the class pass is. That's exactly how it is. So I had a couple of women on there. I don't know where they were from. And then I had an old student, and I had one of my friends and like an old client, and they were all just kind of on there. And I didn't know how many people were signed up until I looked, and then I was like, oh, okay. And we're all there working out together. And I'm like, okay, that went by a lot faster than just me even doing my own workout alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talking about like okay, so when you're in a group fitness class in real life, I would typically keep my phone face down, but every once in a while, I know it's just an hour, but every once in a while I would flip it over sometimes, and I'd be like, because I'd be waiting for somebody to call me back, and I'd be like, oh, and I would never answer it in the class or anything, but the fact that I'm like sweating profusely, and then I'm touching my phone, and then I'm touching the mat that's not my mat, And then God knows what else I'm touching. And maybe I grabbed those big long poles that they have that you use to do the deadlift and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wasn't scrubbing those things down. And I think of myself, when I'm in the treatment room, I'm really, really careful. And people ask, or they don't ask, but they come in all the time and they're like, oh, Shelley, I've got all this breakout here. And I'm thinking, like, it's like the hand to face situation. And I feel like I don't have that issue because being an esthetician, I'm always touching people. So at least in the treatment room and in my life outside of the gym, I never touch my face. I mean, I'll touch it with like the back of my wrist, like if I have an itch. But it's because my hands are always on someone else and I don't want to bring that onto me.
Yeah.
So I've learned, like, with this whole virus thing, it wasn't hard for me not to touch my face, like directly. But knowing, like, going to the ATM machine was an experience the other day because I had to pull cash out. And I have these gloves. My husband and I bought like 24 gloves.
Oh my gosh, what kind of glove? What material is that?
It's just like a woolly glove, and it's kind of stupid because they don't have the finger pads, but I wanted washable gloves that were cheap. And next time I'll probably spend more money on it. But I had to break out the old fashioned stylus. Like, remember these things?
Well, that's smart because, like you said, you're sweating profusely, and I can relate to that. I'm always dripping in sweat everywhere. And how many of us are guilty of doing the phone in the bra and the shirt in the pants pocket, or you're running and you don't have the hook? So it's like you're sweating, you're touching weights, or you're touching equipment, then you're like touching your bottle, touching your face, touching your phone on your face. So I feel like some really good tips too that I started using now that I'm at home, which I was so guilty of not doing, is bringing wipes and having wipes. Because now I'm just like, oh, work out, go to the shower, right away cleaning. And then I realized, like, oh, I feel like my skin is much brighter. I don't have like these sweat bumps and this and that. And I'm like, I wonder what it is. And then it just clicked the other day. I was like, oh, it's because I'm taking care of my skin now that I'm at home. But what's going to happen when I go back out? I need to actually pack a bag, bring wipes, not go into the car all sweaty. And maybe even like get some kind of little glove that's got the finger or the stylus like that you have. Because I'm always on the phone doing this.
I wash this thing every time I come in the house. Like I wash it with soap and water or rub it with a white thing, but usually just soap and water. But like, trying to get to the bank, I figured out that I can't wear that. I can't use a stylus, on the pin pad. I had to bring a nitrile, like a rubber glove with me. So in order to push the buttons, it only recognizes certain textures. And I was like, so it took me 3 days to get back to the ATM to get the money. And I was like, so stupid. But all this stuff is going to be really good for us. It's going to be good for like making sure that we're not touching our face, making sure that we're aware of our surroundings, that we care more about cleanliness and things around us. And we're going to like insist. So I think that there's a lot of bad things happening, but I think that there's a lot of good things that will come as a result of this from now on. And people will look back on this and they'll be like, oh, you guys were so gross. Like, and now we'll be so much cleaner later, I think. I mean, it might be too much too. I mean, we still need to have a certain amount of dirt in our life. Yeah. But viruses, not so much. I don't think.
Not so much that. But I think the important thing too, Shelley, is that we could be better afterwards, but only if we set ourselves up for it right now.
Exactly.
Like, now is the time to like, and I keep saying it, but like literally reprogram yourself.
Yeah.
In whatever area it is. It's like, if you want to be cleaner, then start getting like cleaner habits that you can keep, or like get yourself on a schedule, get yourself on a routine. And like naturally, when you clean it up on the inside, like it shows on the outside or whatever you're doing in your life.
Exactly.
For sure.
Well, do you have any like tips for anybody, like fitness things, or anything?
Yeah, definitely. I saw a comment in here, and so I think Bettina said that she can't get motivated to work out at home. And so I feel like a lot of the issues for a lot of people are feeling like I can't get up and do it, or I'm not happy today, so I won't do it. But that's a reason to do it. Like if you're just feeling blah, and you just got to get a buddy. So finding a friend or finding anybody, there's so many groups and like things online and like ClassPass where you can just meet new friends that are working out, that are doing the same things that you're doing. And then that way, like, yeah, maybe it won't happen overnight, but if you start just committing to like one class a week or like one 10-minute workout, that's why I started doing a lot of quick workouts on my YouTube channel. So there's like 45-minute workouts and there's 10-minute workouts. There's 5-minute butt workouts and 5-minute ab workouts, because some people can't stay motivated to do a whole 60 minutes. So just start with like 5 and 10 minutes and don't put a judgment on it, because you may not feel motivated to do it if you set the bar so high that you can't achieve it. Like you can't go from 0 to 100. So why set yourself up to fail and feel like crap? Just start with like, I'm doing 5 minutes of this today, or close your eyes and go on it and be like, it's Shelley doing skin and burpees. Cool. Don't know what that means, but I'm going to give it a try just because. And then you did it, and then you separate yourself from it. Like you don't have to get emotionally involved with what's going to happen and can I keep this up? So, I mean, I'm not motivated all the time, but it's like you got to find that discipline. So you can find the discipline right now, and then maybe the motivation will come later. But you just have to start.
I've got somebody, I am a cinnamon roll. He's saying, she was in the yoga class with me yesterday, and it made all the difference. And it actually this morning, like I couldn't do it today because I had a lot of scheduling things, but I actually thought like, oh, I know her. I want to get on that yoga class with her again. So I'm going to invite her to your Zoom as soon as I find out about it, like when the next one is. But she's also mentioning about like candles and music and all these other things. But what I love about, first of all, I have one of those diffusers with essential oils because I make my own skincare products. I have so many essential oils. So I've researched different blends. And so I come up with like all sorts of different types of aromas. And then I put them into my diffuser, and then it really makes my house smell really good. And then you could burn a candle, or I have the type of flickering. It looks like a candle, but it's not, because I have a dog and I don't want her like catching her tail on fire or anything like that. But I just love like you can create your own ambiance in your home and make it really special and have like a little sacred space. I always tell my husband to put his earphones on and face the other direction. But when I was doing the peach fat today, he actually saw, and he was like, and I was like, turn around. And that was so very funny. But yeah.
That's so funny. That's hilarious.
I think we can create our sacred spaces. And I think we're forced to do that right now. Like everybody's trying, like with kids, and we have a mutual friend who's dealing with kids, and they're, yelling in the room, and like she created a new environment in her apartment that she could have as a safe space, and then her husband takes care of the kids when she's doing her like 1 hour of by herself time. So not everybody has that luxury, but when you do, it's just great.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. I know what you mentioned, the diffuser, and I'm looking over here at mine. I have a diffuser in here too. So you're right. It actually does set the vibe. Another really good tip too is to just take some time. And I have found that this is so amazing. I went to this business conference maybe like last summer, and they talked about breath work. And I'm not a yoga teacher, but I like going to yoga. So when you're doing so many different things and running around, which I feel like we're still doing now, if we're making ourselves busier, like you and I are like, oh, let's get on and like, let's get moving. But it's
so busy right now.
People aren't doing anything. So like, you have that time to like learn how to be still. So one day I just felt really frustrated, and I came in here and I turned off the lights, and all of like the blue lights and everything that's coming through our phones all the time are making us in like flight or fright, flight mode. So I turned off the lights, and I just have this like soft green light. It kind of looks like a Zen yoga room. And then I have like lavender on, like the diffuser is spraying everywhere. And I just sat in here and I just breathed for, I don't even know how long. It was like 5 minutes. So I did cycles. I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but I'll show you. So like deep breaths in and out. And then quick ones like over and over and over and over. So just keep changing the cycles and sitting in stillness and then just breathing and feeling everything. So that is so amazing, just to reset yourself before you're going to go do another task. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking while you were doing that, I was like, okay, if you don't have a diffuser, you could just probably put, or not probably, you can just drop a couple drops of essential oil on a towel and then just put it on your head or put it at the top of your yoga mat, or you can get that aroma. You could even do it on a piece of paper towel.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have somebody here. I never know how to say it, but urobo. For those struggling to motivate to work out at home, remember you have a lot of hours logged practicing going to the gym. So what I'm taking from that is just that we've already conditioned ourselves to go to the gym. So if we just do something different, maybe to reprogram, like you were saying, and make it like an appointment, like at 12 o'clock, I used to go to my class. So at 12 o'clock here, I can just set up my safe space and then jump in there and, try to cancel out everything around me. And I do work out with earphones, and I look so stupid because my husband works from home. We have a small place. So I put my earphones on and then I put this big hat over it, like a skull cap, to keep them in place. Because a lot of times I did your, the kickboxing the other day. And if I don't have a hat on, then it flies off. So I'm going to buy those new earbuds, the ear pods that are coming out. And I think that will help me. But yeah, it's so weird because I'm like, I've got these big things, which are great for sound and music, but then this stupid skull cap. And then I'm like dancing around my apartment. But it keeps me focused, and I'm just looking at my yoga mat. That's as much space as I need, really.
It's so funny you say that, Shelley. So my time when I started working out, I don't think I mentioned this. So when I started working out with Billy Blanks, I had really just started my fitness journey. In the beginning, I was just kind of doing it on my own. I'd go to UFC was I feel like my second gym. So I started at 24 Hour, went to UFC, and it was like all this gym intimidation. So I'd always put my earphones on because I wanted to block everybody out and I didn't want to see what anyone was doing. And then when I think about it now, I can't even remember what I was doing at that gym. Unless I took a class, I was just like literally farting around, like just with my earphones on, just like, oh, I'm gonna go on the treadmill, I'm gonna go on the Stairmaster, I'm gonna go do this machine, I'm gonna do that machine. And then I was like, okay, I went to the gym. It was just a task that I did. Then when I started working out with Billy, he would make me count, and now that's why I count in all of my workouts. Even if there's music on, I still kind of count the reps or I count the sets. So it always changes. And of course, if you're an instructor, you're used to counting. And if you're not, you don't teach fitness, and you're like, I don't know how to count. So he teaches all of his clients how to count during the workout because he says that working out is like a mind-body connection. And I so feel that, and I feel like that stayed with me so much because I realized what I was doing before, it was just like a task and I wasn't really connected to it. And then as soon as I started working out with him, it was like how I told you, from moving from New Orleans to moving here, I just kind of was like, oh, brand new. I'm going to be like, I'm going to do this now. And then when I started working out with him, I was like, oh, like I'm just not even in the room. He's like, you look like a zombie. What are you doing? You're just standing there like, dull face, like you're not looking at what's going on, you're not counting for yourself. He's like, you just look like a robot that's following. And that's what's wrong with a lot of the group fitness industry and the fitness industry, because right now, like, let's be real, it's a lot of copying, a lot of following, a lot of what's trending, a lot of whatever celebrity is doing or whatever influencer is doing, but they're not talking to you about how to change your body. They're not talking to you about how to change your life, how to take your problem, turn it into a solution. They're not teaching you how to become disciplined, how to get up off the couch, how to get off of whatever problem you're sitting on and turn it into something else. So when I started working out with him, that counting was more like speak it into existence or like speak it into action or what everyone would call manifestation. Mm-hmm. So a good way I feel is to get out of that if you're not motivated or if you feel like you can't follow an instructor or you can't get out of that like funk, you have to have a distraction, is take the distractions away and then find a coach, find a class, And then when you're doing it, talk to yourself, talk to your body. So like if you guys are here right now, why are you working out? Like just kind of state in the comments, why are you being active? Why are you doing whatever you're doing? Is it just for the outer goal? Is it to lose weight? Or is it really to connect with yourself and to get something out of yourself? So if you don't talk to yourself, how is that going to happen? How are you going to make a change? You're just like floating around. Like, oh, I'll just copy this workout. Looks good. She looks good, so I guess I'll just do it. Why?
Well, while they're typing, I have one person that sparked an idea in my head. So she said with kids, the 10-minute workouts make a lot of sense, especially when stressed. I've always thought you had to go from A to Z in the same sitting. But I noticed that you do shorter workouts sometimes. I mean, I've done several of your longer ones. But so does it work if you've got kids and you're like, okay, I want to do 10 minutes of arms right now. And then in half an hour from now, I'm going to have time while they're taking their bath. I can do my peach butt exercise. Or how does that work? Like if you're doing it segmented throughout the day?
That's a really good question. So, because I know some people have, multiple kids. So you might have a little one that's napping and a big one that is doing homework or, needs help, or you're cooking or doing dishes. So the way that you should look at it as if you're doing cardio or if you're doing strength, and that's like an easier way to describe it. So if you're doing any kind of strength first, you're going to want more energy, right? So if you want more energy for your strength workout, whether it's weights or whether it's like heavy planks and push-ups, it's body weight. You want to do that first if you're going to be doing another workout soon, and then do cardio or HIIT afterwards. If you go and do this 45-minute HIIT and then try to do weights after, you're not going to have very much energy for those weights. But if it's really spread out, if you're talking about 5 a.m., then, if you're doing 5 and then evening, then that's plenty of time for like refeeding your body and resting, recovery mode. But if you're doing these quick, short workouts, I'd use your energy for the heavier workouts, the ones that take more stamina, and then take your time later for like those HIIT workouts, or if it's going to be cardio. But if it's something like abs, you can do a quick 10-minute abs. You can do a quick 10-minute Pilates workouts. That's why I love body weight workouts, because it's not as, I'm going to say like scientifical. It's not a science as much until you bring those weights in. And that's when you really need the accountability for what you're eating, what you're putting in your body. I mean, if you're sitting around eating a bunch of, and the carbs are good, but if you're sitting around eating a lot of the bad carbs, a lot of bad fat, eating at all different kind of times, your body doesn't really have any kind of function. You're just kind of eating just because, not eating for a reason, no structure, and you're doing all these different workouts, it's going to be like confusion town. You know what I mean? But if you're doing a lot of body weight workouts, that's why I love those. It's so helpful for moms that don't have hours, or students or professionals, because you can just do, okay, here's my, quick, or here's the days where I do like a nice long workout. I love.
Can you explain what body weight workouts are?
Oh, yeah. So if you don't need any equipment, like no weights, I even would say a chair, because a chair is just kind of an object in the house.
Oh, that chair exercise you gave me the other day was so hard. I had to sit on it, hold the chair, and then lift my legs up and down. It was such a good core exercise. I was like, oh!
Yeah, that's why I like the body weight, because it makes you focus more on yourself, and that it is more mind and body. And you got to have those weight days when you have them. But if you've got strength within your own body, think about all the times that you started working out and then stopped. If you're always doing these body weight workouts, you're going to stay somewhat strong. Do you know what I mean?
So you're talking about like push-ups and planks and things like that?
Yeah, so that could be
using your own body.
Yes, things that need your own body. You're lifting yourself off the floor. That could be a plank. That could be L-sits. It could be squats. That could be kickboxing, Taekwondo. It could be Pilates. It could be bar. I do like a lot of ballet exercise, like inspired workouts, because those are like nice and, more low intensity, but you're still going to get that really good burn and really specific targeted exercises. So like I want to work on my hamstrings and my glutes without overpowering my quads. So stuff like that. But, it could be things with a chair, like tricep dips. You just need barbells and dumbbells, and you don't need big boxes to jump on and things like that.
Right. And I know on your YouTube channel, you have like playlists So do you list it out by body weight? So if somebody wasn't 100% familiar, if they looked up body weight workouts, would it be on there, or do they just look?
Yeah, so I have one that says full length workouts. I have one that says quick workouts. I have two that I just created that say like ab and booty workouts. But they all have a playlist. So when you go on there, YouTube, Irene Exo Fitness, just go over videos, playlists, and then you'll see kind of all the breakdown. And I have a lot of other ones too. I have a series on how to lose belly fat, which is so helpful right now. There's like smoothie ones, but all those, like the belly fat series is so good because right now is like the perfect time to like get everything in check and like make a schedule. So whatever workouts that that you do like to do, now's a good time to get on track with a certain routine when you're eating. Even I've done that. So now that we've been at home, I got on a intermittent fasting schedule just because I really do love the balanced eating style, and that's what I usually use. I even do that with my clients because that's like something that's not so hard to learn how to do on your own. Like, when you're doing all these different diets and then they crash, you gain the weight back because you stop doing it. But now that we're at home, it's easy to turn balanced dieting into like, oh, now I'm just going to eat whenever I feel like it. And you're just grazing in the kitchen, eating peanut butter, eating bread,
Amazing.
eating cookies. Like, oh, I feel like eating. This is intuitive. And it's like, no, you're just eating all over the place. So it's helped me so far because now I know I'm like, okay, well, it's 7. I need to have my dinner now, and now I have to wait until it's morning at a certain time, and then that's when I eat again. So I'm doing a whole cleanse. Oh, we should talk about that too, because there is going to be a 60-day challenge coming up, and you guys can join in on that. So that is going to be completely free, and we're going to do that together. But that would be really cool to do like a total like health and include the skin too.
Oh.
Kind of do it like a little challenge day, like, oh, this day wear a mask, and like this day you could recommend like certain scrubs and stuff. But it's going to be really cool. So it's like a cleanse, and you kind of just get on a schedule and you do certain workouts. There'll be quick workouts to do every day for the 60 days. And there's
cool. Like, so I make these masks. One of them is called Hello, because it's more like, hello, beautiful, amazing skin. Like, because you're bringing it in. It's like for aging, dry skin, wrinkles, things like that. And some like pigmentation issues. And then the other one is like goodbye, and it's like bye-bye acne, breakouts, oily skin, blackheads, things like that. And I sell them in a particular size. It's a 2.5 ounce jar, and it's designed to give you like a month's supply. So if you did it like 3 times a week, it takes about 8 minutes to have it, like you put it on and it dries, and then it deposits all the stuff. And it's really like a treatment. It's like if you came to me for a facial, okay, and I gave you like a kind of an intense peel, like a medium peel, it's like giving that to yourself in micro doses about 3 times a week. Sometimes people do it 4 times a week, and you could do it twice a week or once a week. But I say if you're going to go for it, do it in 1 month, because it has fresh, I extract broccoli, red clover, wheatgrass, all these different botanicals, and I get the liquid out of them, and then I put them into the mask along with different types of acids. So they're pretty cool, and that would go really well with a cleanse, like, because it's just, you keep it in the refrigerator. It's very cooling. In fact, what could be a good idea is, because I always tell people after they exercise if they can cool down, especially if they get any kind of redness, because that's like a inflammation. So anytime somebody turns red, it's inflammation. So your capillaries and everything. So to cool that off, you could take a cold towel. You could take one of the ice rollers I have like on my Shop World page that you can pull out of the fridge just to calm that down really quickly. Some people go to the fridge and just open it and stick their face in there, which is okay, but that's a big energy.
Sounds like it feels good.
It does. But then what you could do is, before you get into the shower, you don't have to wash your face before you put it on or anything, but you would exercise, do your fitness routine, get yourself ready, put your mask on from the fridge. It automatically cools down your skin, and then you get yourself ready for the shower, and within 8 minutes, you rinse it off in the shower.
Okay. What's
that's
it called?
This one, well, this is the hello or the goodbye. So it just depends on your skin type.
Okay. So, Shelley, you just brought up so many things, and I'm like, I have so many questions.
Really?
I have flashback to like those bad days at the gym and not washing my hands. So I got something called an enzyme peel, and I don't know if anyone here has gotten that before, but Shelley, I can't even understand. I don't even know what it is. It felt like it was working, and I had to do it like, I don't know. She told me to come back like between certain weeks, and I felt like I just had so much dirt and like stuff underneath my skin and bacteria, and I thought that I needed to get extractions. It was this whole crazy thing. I got a Groupon, and then I went there, and she told me that I couldn't get the extractions because there was something going on. So she didn't end up doing that, and she only did the enzyme peel. So maybe you can clear it up, because I have no idea.
For sure. Okay, so actually, it's funny that you say that, because I just started writing a blog post on enzymes, and it's called, I don't know what I'll call it in the end, but it'll come out in probably 4 weeks from now. But it's like pro tips or the secret to professional facials or something, because I'm going to launch a new blog post next week, and I think it's called DIY facial, like how to give yourself a DIY facial, because I'm trying to give tips for people to be able to do these things themselves, since they can't, come to me, obviously.
Would you guys like that though? Sorry, Shelley. Would you guys like that? Like if we did another one of these and like kind of like an interactive one, so we could talk about skin type, like maybe during the challenge too, it could be like DIY facial day, and you could show us.
Oh yeah.
We could all do it at the same time.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah. I would love to do that. So let's see if anybody else is interested. In the meantime, I'll answer your question. Oh, Lancelot would love it.
Yeah.
Hi. So, okay, enzymes. If you think of like a meat tenderizer, like our skin is made of protein, and enzymes love protein and they digest protein. So when you put this paste on your skin, so if you think of yeast extract, it's like it's a dry powder. And, oh yes, it is good for aging, and it does help out with aging a lot. But anyway, so it's like a dry yeast powder in a way, but it's an enzyme powder. And you can get, in fact, it's on my website right now. Let me see if I can show you where you can find it.
Okay.
But if you go onto my website, which is shelleyskincare.com, let me see, let me go back here really quick. I have this page on there called Shop Amazon Store. So let's see if you can see that. Shop Amazon Store, right there. And if you click on that, I've created all of these lists. And in the list, it has one called DIY facials. So I don't know if you can see, it's pretty small. Do you see that?
Yeah, I can kind of see it. It's a little small.
Okay, so when you click on that, it just opens up everything that you would need to give yourself a facial at home. And one of the things I've been looking into lately are enzymes. So I found a pineapple enzyme powder and a papaya enzyme powder that's edible. So you might be able to work that into your healthy eating routine. Because I think that eating enzymes are really good and putting them into smoothies, things like that for digestion. But for the face, it does the exact same thing. So you mix it up with water, make like a nice pudding type texture, and then you steam your skin. And I put some steamers on the website page as well. But you could just do, the old-fashioned way where you're steaming your skin in a pot of water, or you can take a hot towel, not too hot, but a warm towel, and put it over your face, because enzymes only work if you have moist steam or moist heat.
Oh.
And as long as they're moist and warm, they will just keep eating away at the surface. So you can only leave them on your skin between 3 and 7 minutes. If you're really sensitive, 3 minutes max. If you've got really strong skin, thicker skin, then 7 minutes.
And it starts tingling, right?
It does, because it's like kind of eating away, and you start to feel kind of some people feel a little itchy. So it's really the first phase of exfoliation, I would say it's the lightest peel. So I would consider it like a peel level 1.
Okay.
Lactic acid is another type of peel that's very low. But there are many different strengths of lactic acid. So you could put, like maybe a comparable peel would be an enzyme peel or a 12.5% lactic acid.
Okay, so Shelley, in normal human talk, because I'm like, what is that? I don't even know what that means. You're like a scientist. Are those
okay, I'll just say,
do at home?
go to my blog for that, the Freckle blog. It's just called thefreckle.blog.
Gotcha.
I don't want to confuse people and talk too much about that because I can go down a rabbit hole so fast. But there's so many different types of acids and peels. Okay. And I would say the enzyme is like a lower level that almost anyone, I've never really met anyone who couldn't handle enzymes. So I think that people would be fine with that. And it's just going to make your skin glowy, and it's going to eat off all the junk, the surface debris. And then when you put everything on your skin later, like serums, toners, it's all going to penetrate in better. And you almost can't do it too often. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that is, in my opinion, kind of the secret to a professional facial peel. So, and that's one of the things that most people don't have at home. They don't have the real deal at home. So that's why when I put it on my website in the shop world, I put the actual stuff because I've never seen it in any store. Like nobody thinks about it, but an esthetician's room wouldn't be a professional room without enzymes. I mean, that's our go-to baby for almost everything.
And
hey, Disco Girl.
How often can we do, if we're sweating a lot during the week, how often should we be doing basic masks?
It depends on what your issue is, really. I mean, so if you had the hello or goodbye, like I said, you could do a treatment 3 times a week. But if you wanted to just do, like, say you have oily skin, you could do a mask maybe 2 times a week. Or if you had dry skin, you could do it 7 days a week. Like, you know, because you're just adding hydration. But I don't typically recommend a ton of those facial masks that come in the foil packets. Like, they're not really my favorite things, and I can get into that later. Oh yes, and I'm answering to Malia. Yes, if you're pregnant, you can absolutely use enzymes. Those are completely harmless. There's 3 types. There's a bovine, which comes from cow, and that's rarely used anymore. And then there's papaya and pineapple. So they're called papain and bromelain, and they're perfectly fine. So yeah, the makeup enthusiast is saying sheet masks are wasteful, and that's exactly one of the reasons I don't really like them. But in addition, they don't usually have a lot of great ingredients. They're just more of like a fad right now. So I really love like gel-based, clay-based, things like that. And certain clays they're not there to like suck everything out of your skin. Certain clays are there to deposit goodness into your skin. And those are the types of clays that I use. And they're only like 7, 8 minutes.
Nice.
I know a lot of people say, oh, leave it on for 30 minutes, but I don't know what is going on in the masks. But
leave it on for 30 minutes, fall asleep watching Netflix.
Yeah, and then wake up and you're either all messed up and need to go to the hospital, or you look 20 years younger. I don't know. Oh, and Disco Curls is saying how much she loves pumpkin enzyme. I love pumpkin, cherry. There's so many. I used to have a blueberry. Like, there's so many types of fruit extracts that make up these things. But pumpkin's amazing. I love pumpkin.
Yeah, I love pumpkin.
Yeah, but then some of them, as a professional, I have to say, some of them you have to be careful with because depending on your skin tone, like your skin coloring, if you put on a mask, like a pumpkin enzyme, and then you go to do extractions, you could hyperpigment, or you could create like a little crusting, and then people get really upset about that. So there's different levels of pumpkin enzyme, and I don't know what is out like in the market for like just the regular Joe to buy versus what I have. Like, I have like 25% pumpkin extract, and I'm not going to use that for people. Or if I do, I'm going to be careful what I do afterwards. So it's still good to go to a professional.
Speaking of professionals, I was wondering, since you brought up extractions, so before, I don't even know when it probably wasn't that bad year, 2018. that I was like just doing whatever to my skin, trying to figure stuff out. So I tried to do like what my esthetician did and do like a home extraction to my pimple. And I did that, and then I think I put on like a tea tree scrub or some kind of product, and it burned the heck out of my skin. So, and I've been seeing so many people post videos like doing my own extractions, and then later they'd say something happened or I went bad. Like, what do you say about that? Like, how do you know when it's time to bother it or not?
That honestly, that's like experience. That's the tricky part. I mean, I grew up with my mom, always extracting things out of her face. Like she used to use those bobby pins, the back of a bobby pin, you know, how it's got the rounded head. And that looks like the extractor tools that I have in my DIY facial list as well. And you can use the bobby pin, but like you have to use it to kind of like anchor, like, okay, if it's a U shape and you're trying to pull something, make something pop out, there's like a kind of a grace to it. So you're just kind of going around this thing and kind of like sometimes using it as leverage to like, if this is still, then you're pressing in like this.
I see. So both hands are not going in like lifting it.
If you go like this at the same time, which you can in certain situations, but if you go like this, you could just go and like mess it up by pushing it too much inside. Plus, like I have pretty fair skin, but I have dark eyes, and you can see my roots. I have pretty dark hair. So if I were to go to town and just squeeze, or if I had your skin coloring and I started doing that, I would create an inflammation, like a little bit of inflammation. And that way, if I don't ice afterwards and calm that down immediately, then I would get hyperpigmentation that could last a really long time. So you have to be so careful with extracting at home. Like, and then also we're not allowed to do these, but they're like, you know, the pimple popper lady. Yeah. I mean, she just dives right in. I mean, I know how to do that, but you know, we're not supposed to do that. But you sanitize the area with a surgical soap, you prick it, and then you go, but only in certain situations. So we have these things called whiteheads or closed comedones, and that's the perfect one to stick a little needle in and do that. But I would never tell somebody to do that themselves because you can get staph infection. And if you get a staph infection in your face, you are in trouble. Like you are at the hospital, you're having a drain, you've got scarring for forever. So I don't recommend people pricking themselves with anything. I know that everybody got into those roller, you know, the little micro needles. No way. Like no way would I ever recommend that, because those needles, who knows what you're putting in your face? Like, But anyway, blackheads, just poking them out a little bit after you've enzymed, steamed, and then removed that, and then you carefully just kind of press out like that, or maybe use an extractor tool. But anyone with like just a hint, I guess I'm a level 3 in the color scale, so anybody higher than me has to be really careful using a tool, otherwise they could risk, or they need to ice for at least 10 minutes afterwards.
Okay. Do you think like maybe like scarring would happen? Like you would scar yourself if you have like well, depending on what you mean by scarring, I would say that getting a dark mark, a hyperpigmented spot, is a scar, but it's not like a cut scar, you know, like a scab scar. So if you want to avoid a hyperpigmentation dot, then you have to be really careful how much pressure you put on, because the minute you give yourself a little bit of a trauma, then you have activated the melanin, and those just fly right up to the surface of the skin to protect you, because they don't know what this is. Is this an invader? Like, what's happening? And it's like, and then boom, you're stuck for like months with this spot. So you have to smack that down with the ice as soon as possible. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and curls. I know you were talking to me about those with your hairline, and I think you had a lot of success on your YouTube channel. You have a lot of before and after pictures about using them on your edges, I believe. But they scare me to death. I don't want to use them. Ooh. I think we're going to get cut off here. I think we talked too long. And
I know, and there's so many more questions too. If someone was asking about darkness around the eyes, and
we're going to have to do this again, I think. So I'm Shelley from Shelley's Skincare. I'm going to post this on IGTV and on YouTube, and I'm going to put Irene Exo Fitness in everything that I have. And we love you so much. Thank you so much for joining and sticking around this whole time.
For sure.